Part of the reason why I love my job is it's about empowering entrepreneurs in every corner of the country, not only to be wildly successful in your financial endeavors, but to have a little bit of your brain power devoted to some of the biggest challenges that face our great country. I have a high degree of confidence that our healthcare system, our energy system, our educational system will be transformed in no small part because entrepreneurs like you are going to take up the opportunity and to bring those great ideas to commercial scale. What I'd like to do is just spend a few minutes with you as sort of lead up back to the rock star who's going to follow me by providing you a little bit of the context behind how we think about entrepreneurship in the public policy domain. You heard a little bit about the importance of Startup America, but I want to go a little bit further to give you the background from the president's standpoint. If you even went back maybe a month and a half ago when he introduced the Jobs Act, the president outlined a number of key initiatives that were specifically focused on promoting entrepreneurship. And I have this particular excitement around young entrepreneurs who are demonstrating the can-do spirit that makes us such a great country. You see that in every community we visit. And what is it that the president called on us to do? In the Jobs Act, he made some very important claims. Number one, he called for some key policy changes that would make it easier for entrepreneurs to succeed. Number one, he called on improvements in access to capital. Specifically, he referenced the fact that he'd love to see the opportunity for you guys to access new sources of capital through crowdfunding. That particular idea, by the way, has taken the Hill by storm. I believe it passed the House 400 and what to some high number. We're starting to see some early results from the Hill that these policies are bipartisan in nature and they're going to make a difference. The president also called on some simplification of rules for private placements so that you can expand the number you can raise from 5 to 50 million. And he also called on, obviously in collaboration with the SEC, but called on Congress to think through how we can make it easier to on-ramp high-growth entrepreneurs into the public capital markets by looking at Sarbanes-Oxley issues with emphasis on opportunities for entrepreneurs early in the process. The president also called on Congress to modernize the unemployment insurance system to allow, and I think Ari or someone made a comment on that when I was walking in the room, to allow entrepreneurs who are today receiving unemployment compensation to essentially translate the job-seeking aspect of the requirements to participate in unemployment and allow you to be a job creator. That is, allow you to transition to be an entrepreneur while drawing down unemployment so that you could actually create a job as much as seek a job. And the president's called on these policy changes, and he's been talking about them for months, and the administration's been working on these issues for the past year. Because as in January, this very same room, we gathered stakeholders to launch Startup America Partnership, and it began with a dialogue with the American people to hear policy ideas like crowdfunding, like strengthening or improving the on-ramp to the Sarbanes-Oxley reform. Listening is a key part of this process. 3 immediate actions the president's taken in addition to calling on Congress to make change that are live right now. Number one, you obviously are aware of the fact that we've expanded eligibility for health insurance to 26. I can't tell you how many young entrepreneurs I've met have said, that one provision alone that allows me to stay on my parents' health insurance has given me the confidence and the freedom to run a startup. You wouldn't have otherwise thought of health insurance policy linking to startups, but in fact it's had effect. Number two, while we haven't been able to legislatively adopt the startup visa program, we have made administrative changes to make it easier and to clarify for entrepreneurs, immigrant entrepreneurs, that if you're here in this country to start a business that will hire Americans, we're going to find a way to make it work for you, make our immigration system work for you. So we clarified, for example, that whether you're applying for an EB-2 visa or an H-1B visa, under certain circumstances you can be an employer, that is the founder CEO, and the employee applying for these various immigration status, these cards. And so clarifying that has opened up more opportunities for immigrant founders who otherwise would find themselves in a corporation where they're following the the economics of their employer as opposed to venturing off on their own right. And then just about a week and a half ago, the president announced the most recent student loan improvements, where he adopted or expanded upon our income-based repayment plan, which makes it easier for you to start a business where you're not making any money and have the repayment plan to your student loans reflect the relatively modest salary that you're incurring when you're launching your business. We think these actions, not policies we need Congress to take action on, actions that we've done on our own, have already made a difference for entrepreneurs. What I'd like to do in the time before Valerie gets here is to just share a couple of examples of what we're trying to do outside of the capital markets and outside of some of these macro policy issues to really stimulate opportunities. I will highlight 3 specific and tangible areas where you can get started right away. Because it's one thing for us to make the macro environment better for entrepreneurs. It's another to create a policy foundation to start absolutely new business models in industries that are desperate for transformational change. Healthcare. Just on Monday alone. How many of you are healthcare startups? A couple of you. Well, I hope you paid attention to Monday. We rolled out the $1 billion Healthcare Innovation Challenge. So that in Medicare right now, we want to change the way doctors and hospitals get paid so that they can keep us healthier and make money at the same time. That's the American way. So we're looking for new models of reimbursement, new reimbursement models that would allow it. As an example, a doctor today, if they did a FaceTime video chat with a patient for 6 minutes, couldn't get that reimbursed. But if they saw them in the office, brought them in for a visit, that is a reimbursable expense. If I wanted to text message a patient to make sure they were keeping on their meds, not reimbursable. If I brought them into the office for a visit to talk about their medication usage, reimbursable. So we're creating this unproductive healthcare system where basically better care coordination, better patient engagement tools, better data mining and analytics to inform doctors about which patients are more or less likely to be healthy or at risk of a sicker condition. None of that stuff has a business case today. But under this $1 billion plan, you have the opportunity to partner up with doctors and hospitals and to say in your little communities, we can invent a better way. We can encourage doctors and hospitals to utilize modern technology. I got the iPad videotaping me right now. You can find use cases for the iPad to come forward and to bring those applications to market. Now you have a chance to prototype your ideas in a manner that, if successful, could conceivably scale and be payment policy for the country. Ditto on energy. We announced that by Christmas, any of you from California? Ooh, a lot of love. Any of you in energy? A couple of you. We've convinced all 3 utilities in California that by Christmas, every Californian will be able to access their energy data by touching a simple green button that'll give them their energy consumption data in 1-hour increments going back a year. Just think about all the opportunities for entrepreneurs to convince Californians to download their green button data, share it with them, and to provide new products and services to change your thermostat or adjust your behavior to maximize your energy efficiency and to improve your overall, in this case, carbon footprint. These are just a few examples of what we're trying to accomplish. But more will be found if you look at our whitehouse.gov/innovation tab and the work that we're trying to do to open up government data and data more generally so that it can be fuel for your entrepreneurial ventures. So yes, we want to make sure the market conditions are favorable to you, but also we want to create opportunities in health, in energy, and in education.